What's up, everybody?
What's up?
That's quickly becoming my favorite song.
Dude, that was the first time I've ever heard it.
Oh, really?
I was like, what? Hold on a minute. What?
I find myself whistling it during the day.
Me too.
Shit. I'll be right back.
Let's say we got an interesting show today.
Spicy, as Paul Italia would say.
Spicy.
It's all Laray's fault.
I swear.
Well, why don't we start with the positive? Let's hear where are we at with the event. How's the classes looking? How full are they?
Yeah, so as far as the 54, 76, 98, which that was originally supposed to be the first day, the Saturday, it's stacked up. You know, everybody 32 deep. I think the 98s is like 25, 26, but you know, we still got a couple weeks until the deadline. But as far as the 220s, 242 supers, it is a struggle getting everyone paid up. I don't know whether it be the Sunday, you know, people don't want to travel on a Sunday. You know, I don't know what it is. That could be a role. But we are looking at some different avenues. We're gonna make it work. You know, it's gonna go smooth.
At this point, are you opening up to new people if they want to jump in? First come, first served, whoever's willing to pay now?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to get in on the event and you're not on the list already, yeah, by all means, hit me up. We'll put you on the list, and yeah.
I mean, I personally have no issue traveling on a Sunday. I don't know if I speak for everybody.
It's the Lord's Day.
I mean, I did have a couple people say, like, look, man, I work Mondays and I don't want to be traveling all night Sunday night. And I understand that. And, you know, it's not going to be perfect for everyone, but it's a hard concept, man. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever tried to do an event like this, you know, a year out, get all the spots pre-booked, you know. I was skeptical when I first threw it out there, you know, and then it filled very quickly, and to my surprise, and you know, so I was like, hey, we're gonna make it work, and you know, first time, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully,
I think we need to do more events like this to push that standard. You know, bodybuilding, powerlifting. You sign up for an event months in advance. You pay months in advance. There is no day of registration, and it causes the events to run a lot smoother. You know, coming from a promotion standpoint, it would make a world of difference if I could have my brackets done, ready. I know how many tables I need to run, how many refs I need. It would just be so much more efficient if we had pre-registration.
Yeah, I do think this is the future, or the way it needs to go for promoters. You know, it covers the promoters, right? Because, I mean, Sean can tell you, Ryan, you're a promoter, Mike, you're a promoter. We're all promoters here, and we all know. Yeah, I mean, I know I've advertised a tournament, and then it wasn't even close to the entries I needed, and I lost my butt. And, you know, we all know as a promoter, you're never really going to make money, but it would help if you have an idea of who's coming. You know, like you said, you would know how many refs you need to run. You would know how many scorers, you know, bracket runners. It would help the promoters a lot, and it would help pullers, because now I can go to a list and say, oh, I've been gunning for him, so I'm going to this tournament, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think if we can just get arm wrestlers to quit being lazy, then this would be the way to do events, honestly.
We did something in our earlier days where we have like a Shopify where we sell our shirts, and we made each class and each arm like an item you could purchase. So people would like purchase like, oh, you know, 154 right arm as an item and add it to the cart. And it actually worked out really good for those smaller events. But then we had Winter Blast, and then that was kind of a tough one of that size to do it that way. But
yeah,
the smaller.
Did you offer discount or anything for that, or just convenience?
I think back then we were doing like, if you registered early, you got a free T-shirt.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So we did something like that back then. I mean, you know, it all depends what we can afford. We're still new to the game, so like we're still living paycheck to paycheck. Like this tournament pays for the trophies for the next one, and it just keeps going like that, you know.
Yeah,
The
I think
problem-
I've seen the structure of it when we started doing the round robins, because I can't tell you how many people told me that would never work. Like, oh, you're never going to get 12 of the top ranked guys. I'm like, we might not. But then when I realized, oh, it only takes 2 people to get on that list for everybody else to want to be on the list, right? So when I seen that, I was like, man, I think you can do this with tournaments, man.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with the states is we have so many promoters and everyone is doing it that kind of predominantly the same way, old school. And that's what makes it hard. It'd be hard for everyone to change. When you start talking about bodybuilding, there's not that many of those promoters. I'm a bodybuilding promoter as well with Global Bodybuilding Association, GBO, and so we do that. But that's the way all of them do. All of the bodybuilder promoters, they all do it that way. They all do pre-registration. They all go on there, and like Ryan was talking about earlier, it's a product that you go on there and you just click your different categories you want to compete in or whatever else. And with bodybuilding, their entry fees are stupid high. I mean, I think the last one I did, they were $150 per category.
Yeah.
And people jump in, 5, 6 different categories, even more than they do in arm wrestling. So you would never get that arm wrestler right now because we have too many other options. If somebody tried to do that, they was like, hell no, I'm not doing all that. When I can go down the street and I go pull for somebody else for $30 and don't have to pre-register or anything else, don't have to make it complicated. So there's just too much option out there in the States for arm wrestling, and just unfortunately, I think you'd have to get everybody on board, or either just go kill everybody else.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's unfortunate too, because like I feel like we're the only sport. We're the only sport that you just pull up to the same day and just walk in.
Yeah. And it hurts a lot too with our like host hotels. Like we could get a lot. We could get a lot of comps. We could really make a really, really good event if everyone stayed at our host hotel. And a lot of the other sports, they have a pay to play clause. To go do a soccer tournament somewhere, if you're going to do the tournament in Orlando, they have a host hotel, and everyone has to stay at the hotel. It's a pay to play clause, but we don't have that either, and it would really help. Man, I mean, shit, my venue in Las Vegas, if everybody stayed at my venue in Las Vegas, but there would be so many comps that we would have all kind of free shit to give away. We'd have they would help me find sponsors, but literally out of 200 people that may come, or 150, maybe exaggerating, 2 people would stay at the host hotel.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm not getting anything out of them.
Why do you think that is? I mean, are they staying at Roach Motels? Are they looking for cheaper deals? Or
Well, in Vegas, that is predominantly the case with most places. Is they're either staying at Airbnbs, groups of them, or they're getting cheaper hotels or something like that. But as far as Vegas goes, a lot of people have gaming awards, and they already have a hotel or a casino that they stay at. They have free rooms and things like that. So I use Vegas as an example, but that's kind of a bad example because that's really the worst one. But again, it really could be the best one. If everyone would use that host hotel, I could get a lot out of that hotel to go right back into the tournament.
yeah,
What my main point is there's so many other sports that they already have that in place, but arm wrestling is not one of them. And to get arm wrestlers to do it, you'd have to get everybody else on board, because again, whenever we try to say we're going to have a host hotel and to come to our tournament, you have to stay at the host hotel, then we're like, oh, I'm not going to their tournament then. I'll go to somebody else's.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for sure.
It is. That's an unfortunate way, but
arm wrestlers, man, we're entitled.
Well, most of them will just sleep in their car.
I've known some of them to do that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see statistics on how many arm wrestlers came from other sports. Because coming from bodybuilding,
Mhm.
I was shocked to see the way that arm wrestling is ran, how cheap it is to compete. You
Mhm.
don't have to pay for spray tans or posing chunks and
Mhm.
all the things that come with the sport normally. I'd be curious to see how many of these arm wrestlers, they don't know what the rest of the sports are like.
Right. I mean, I've been involved in a lot of sports, and I'm here to tell you, arm wrestling is the cheapest sport that I've ever heard of. It's cheaper than
Absolutely.
kids softball.
So
Yeah.
I've heard multiple people say, "Man, I paid $40 to come to this tournament, and all I get is this medal," and I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?"
You got to compete, stupid.
Yeah, you're gonna pay $40 to take your wife out to the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
And don't even get me
Maybe.
started on cash prizes. Name another sport that they give cash to their competitors.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many people go in.
If you do cash, they bitch that they don't get medals, and if you do medals, they bitch that they don't get cash. It's like you can't win, dude.
Yeah. Well, there's 5K runs every weekend all over the damn country, and people paying $50 to $100 for running the 5K runs. So they don't get anything. They just doing it to because they love it. So if you say that you love the sport, quit bitching about a $40 entry fee.
They actually lose something. They lose weight.
Not you.
Not me.
That was another thing. Like when I first threw out the December event, it was $100 entry. That's probably the highest entry I've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't for us; it was for them, right? Because everything's going back to them. It was just to fatten the pot. And at first, I was like, "Well, I don't know how people are going to react to this." And honestly, like it wasn't an issue. Like people were cool with it. Now, granted, we're having trouble with the heavier classes paying, but I mean, look at the light classes, man. They're paid up. They don't care, So like I think that's doable. You may not get like super stacked 300 entry tournaments, but quality of tournament might be better. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Funny you
hard.
say that. I've actually toyed with the idea of lowering the price considerably to see if it brings in double, triple the entries. I would rather see 8 to 12 people in a class paying half the price than 4-man classes paying double. But I really don't know if that's a deciding factor for pullers. Is the cost of entry.
Someone told me if we lowered our entry fees to $20, that more of them would pull multiple classes. So we tried it on one tournament and no one did. And I was like, they pulled the same amount of classes as they would if it was $30. So it was like lowering it just $10 did no difference.
Yeah. We've had it at 20, we've had it at 30, we've had it at 50. We've got this one at 100. I just think the people who want to be there are going to be there, ultimately.
Yeah. We tried to do something not really like pre-registration, but on our last tournament, we did a Google document that we sent to everybody to pre-fill out, and it told us like what they were going to be pulling in. And so our brackets guy already had them in the brackets like a week before. So when they showed up, we just weighed them in to confirm, and then they made their payment. But it was already in the bracket, which saved us. It felt like it saved us a lot of time. And then the few guys, only like 2 or 3 guys didn't make weight, and we just had to make like 2 or 3 changes in the bracket, and that was it. Mm-hmm. But other than that, the majority of the people were already, programmed in.
That's our plan with the classes that are completely full. We're going to already have, like, when the deadline ends, I'm going to go ahead and set the bracket,
Yeah.
People will know.
Yeah, because it's easier to remove a couple people than to add fucking 200 people,
Yeah, and then you just step on a scale, boom, and confirm your weight, and you're good to go.
And the majority of the guys know what they're going to weigh coming in.
Yeah.
You got a few guys that maybe don't make weight, so it's easier to remove those couple guys than it is to add, 40 or 50.
Yeah. For sure.
But, we toyed with it. I don't know if it would work at a big tournament like Winter Blast. Maybe. I mean, that might help us get the brackets written up quicker for Corey.
What's it cost for Winter Blast per arm?
What did we do last year? 40?
40.
Yeah.
You discount for crossovers, or you don't encourage crossovers when the event's that
No, I know. We've done it kind of different every year to kind of play around with what works. I think one year we did like 40 for the first 2 arms, and then if you pulled another class, it dropped down to like half or a percentage off. We've done some where like you know, buy one get one free, you know, stuff like that. We've tried different things to see what worked. Just kind of played around with it. But
whatever you did this year worked, so I would suggest trying that again.
I think this last year we just kept it the same all around. Yeah.
I would suggest
It's
doing
difficult to figure out all the fucking discounts and stuff. So I think instead of going high on the price, we left it at like 40 or something and just left it the same across the board. And then kids free. And I think women we did cheaper. So we had a decent amount of women last year though. But yeah, I agree with Sean. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
Right.
I'm about to have to do.
I was gonna say you host tournaments all over the U.S. Do you find certain regions you adjust prices for? Are certain areas cheaper than others, or is it based on population or
Demographics? So basically, if I go to like in somewhere you would expect to spend more money, like at Vegas or something, I'm going to charge the $50 entry fees all day long. But if I go to somewhere where, you know, they're not expected to spend that much money, I might lower down to $40, at least for the amateurs. I have gotten to where I'll lower the amateurs down to $40. It does seem to appeal to them a good bit more. I think I pretty much have the pros pacify with $50 because they know that they're going to get a little bit better award than other places, and they're going to get some really good refereeing and some fast brackets. So those three things right there with the pros, that's worth an extra $10, $20 to them, you know. But when you're trying to convince that to the amateurs that are never seen, you know, bad reffing or bad awards or bad brackets, you know, and things take forever, then you can't really explain it to them. So I'll drop it down with the AMs just to pacify them. But seems like the pros have been pretty happy, been okay with the $50. I was the first one that ever went to $50. And I remember when I did, I remember thinking that everybody was just going to like go crazy about it. And there was really only less than one handful of people, like less than 3 or 4 people that bitched about it. But predominantly, they've been okay with it. You know, it's like I said, you give them a quality event and give it to them in a fun area and get them out in less than 5 hours, at least by 5 hours. You know, don't leave them there all day long, waiting to pull overalls after they been sitting there for 8 hours. That just sucks, man. So you change things up, make it more appealing to the puller, and I think you can charge them a little bit more. And we're all getting on board with that here lately. I do remember back 16, 17, 18, like everything was so at the same point to where everybody did everything the same way. It was the same type of medals. It was the same type of award. Or the same payout or entry fees. It was the same type of venue. Like it would either be ballrooms, hotel ballrooms, or sports expos, which both suck. It would last all freaking day long, sometimes into the next day, literally. You know, but we really started changing some things. We really started becoming really proactive with finding out what the pullers really wanted. Because me specifically, I'm a puller. I was a puller first. I've evolved over into promoter now. But whenever I started promoting, I was like, now that I'm promoting, I want to do it like I would want it done whenever I was pulling, you know, and so all of my tournaments are done just the way that I would want it done if I was just pulling it versus, you know, sitting there. I don't know. I still had never figured out the reason of making a tournament last 10 hours.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But that was the normal. That was a norm for a long, long time.
And it isn't like when you say a tournament lasting 10 hours, you're not even talking about a 400 entry tournament. You're talking about the little 150 entry.
Yeah.
That they stretch out and take 10 breaks a day.
Yeah. And then so this was the case. You would run it down to the top 4. And then you would go up back and you'd start over. Then you run everything down to the top 3. Then you go back and you start over, run it down to the top 2. And it would run the finals out. The people would be so you can't keep it high for that long, you know. Really, you only get one time. So that's the reason my tournaments, we when we start a weight class, we stay on that weight class until we're done. We run all the way through the finals.
Yeah.
And then I'll go ahead and give them their awards. And if they got a flight to catch, or if they got a dinner or a show, they can go catch that. You know, they don't have to sit there and watch everybody else pull. They damn sure don't have to sit there for 6 hours and cool down, and then have to go get warmed up again because they're in the top 4, and then get cooled down for another hour, and then get warmed up again because they're in the top 3. We're not doing all that bull crap.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, even if you do have your tournament last, which, Sean, I know your tournaments never last that long, but if you have a tournament last 10 hours, it's really technically not a 10-hour tournament to certain people, because once your class is over, your class is over in an hour. And like you said, they can go do whatever they want.
Right.
And now, essentially, that tournament lasted an hour for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I agree with that.
Yep. What's on the agenda today? What are we really talking about?
Yeah, here we go.
We got some watchers on here. They're probably on here looking for that specific topic.
Juicy stuff. Versus West, they charge $50, but you also get a free bag of Engen's eyebrow hair. So, I mean,
that was so cheesy.
That was a bad one. That was a bad one. It's all right. Engen likes those.
Speaking of WAP fans.
Speaking of WAP fans. So, all right, let's just dive into this. So, here's what irritates me. So, they just had that meeting, and they came out and said, if it's not an international event and you're not inviting international people, that it doesn't matter if people go to your event, whether there's IFA refs or not. But then they're still messaging people, telling them not to go to your event because it could affect them at a WAF or East versus West event.
Yeah, but this is international.
Why is this still happening?
Laray, this is international or no?
I mean, there are people coming from other countries. Yeah.
I don't think this is, I mean, even from me talking to other people that know what the criteria is way better than me, because I don't keep up with it. They don't consider this one to be like that to fit that criteria as far as a big high level international tournament, you know, to where, because when I had I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, I don't want to dog pile Tim, man. I mean, I hate that he did what he did. I hate that Chance Shaw did what he did back in April, and that's what makes me come unhinged, is whenever it does come out with the ban threats or whatever. But even as I was talking to Tim, because Tim called me up, or actually he called me and then I called him back because I missed this call. But we talked about it, and I asked him, I said, what was the reason for the warnings? Because this, from what I understand, this tournament or this event doesn't even fit the criteria for the ban threats or anything like that, right? I asked him, correct? He said, yeah, it doesn't. I was like, okay. Well, what was the reason for the warnings? And that's what pisses me off the most. Again, I don't want to harp on Tim. So because this happens so much with so many people, and it doesn't matter who it is, it's going to piss me off when any one of them does it. Why do it? Yeah. There was my 2 points right there. Is if it wasn't one of those tournaments that fit that criteria, why even open your mouth? Number 2 is this shit's been going on for 5 freaking years. If an arm wrestler doesn't know the warning threats or anything by now, then they're probably not even pulling East versus West, or either they're just dumb. You know, why keep rewarning? Why keep rehashing? Why keep opening up the can of worms? Because every time it does, this kind of crap right here happens. We get back on podcasts, we hash it out, we talk about it again. Simon starts writing books every day on post, and he can't shut up. And then you got Ingen making videos, and it's just every time something like this comes up, it just opens up a whole can of worms. Why not just leave it alone? Leave it alone. Let and matter of fact, that's what Tim suggested. He said, you know what, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut from now on. I'm not going to warn anybody for anything. I'm like, I agree. Yeah, that's the smartest thing. That's the smartest thing to do. So I don't know what all happened. I don't know what happened with him. I don't know who he told this or who he told that. I've heard all kind of things, and I let things go in one ear and out the other, especially when I'm not involved in it. But the biggest thing that just got under me is whenever he just started talking about the IFA referee that was going there, and he was warning people because of the IFA referee that was going to be there, and I'd happen to be the only IFA referee that was going to be there. So, like I said, I would.
Sean, can you, off the top of your head, list some IFA refs in the United States?
Yeah, me, Pat Berry, um, um, Bill Onifray. Matter of fact, see, that's kind of another thing is
Kind of why I asked. Yeah.
Tim uses those two referees.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. He uses those. So wouldn't his own event, is he warning people of his own event?
I don't know. And I didn't say that because I'm trying to throw Pat or Bill under the bus whatsoever. I love those guys. But I would just ask me a direct question of who some of the other referees were. That was the first two that came off the top of my mind, and it brought up that topic that Tim even uses them. But some of the others are like are Leonard Harkless and Keith Michelle. And myself, of course. So to be an IFA referee, you have to get that certification at the World Championships. And that's what a misconception is. I hear other people talking about, well, everybody's IFA referees, and they're not. It's only a few of us. There's only really just like a double handful of us in the States. So we had to go to the World Championships and get our certification there. If you didn't go to the World Championships, you're not an IFA ref and you're not a WAF ref. You're association ref, whatever association certified you, whether it be USAA, USAF, PAL, WAL, UAL, you're an association ref if you're not a ref for one of those world organizations, if you didn't go to Worlds and test there.
Yeah. So, I mean, so that's a misconception. Like people see a ref and think, oh, he got certified under Sean and maybe is just a number 2 or 3 level. That's not technically an IFA ref then.
That's not at all an IFA ref.
Yeah.
It's just I use an IFA rule set.
Right. So that's a huge misconception, and I think people see that and they're warning people unjustly.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been seeing that a lot. Like Rance Clayton. Rance is one of my masters, and he is a good referee. He's an association master. Now, there's 2 different masters. There's association master. There's an international master. So he's one of my PAL masters, but he's a great ref, but he's not an IFA referee. So he should be good to go anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy though. And we had that at Winter Blast where, Simon publicly told me that he does not warn people not to go to events. And then I saw like 3 or 4 text messages from him telling people, hey, if you pull at Winter Blast, they're using IFA refs. You won't be able to go to East versus West or any WAF events. And I'm like, you literally just told me that you don't do that.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
He's told me that before too, straight up. But I'm telling you, it's crazy because the ban threats are just that. They're threats. They're a scare tactic. So I remember that's what pissed me off so bad back in April when Chance Shaw was whenever he was calling around telling people not to go to IFA Nationals because then they wouldn't be able to compete in East versus West, right? He was doing that. That was the last time all this stuff exploded was back then. Guess who? I remember somebody specifically. I'm not going to call their name, but he won first place. He won gold at IFA Nationals after being told 2 days before, if you go to Nationals, you can't pull at East versus West. He won gold on Saturday. Monday morning rolls around, and the East versus West flyer comes out, and it had him on there.
Of course. It's the bans are selective.
They're selective.
That's what makes them not that easy to swallow. Like if they were consistent and it was the same across the board, it would be easier to swallow, but it's not. And they play favorites and they do all this weird stuff and it's stupid.
Yeah. So I had somebody else, matter of fact, from Tennessee, reach out to me right after that happened. Like I think it was on a Wednesday, and they saw that it happened. That this person that won first, he was still selected to go. He said he felt so bad. He felt so bad for not going because he did listen to the threats and he didn't go because of that. And he was basically apologizing to me. He's like, man, I won't never do that again. I'll stand up for what's right from now on. He said that was just bullshit. He said I feel bad. He literally did. He said, like, I feel bad as a man because I didn't stand up and do what was right. So,
and now apparently you can't even use someone who's competed at a World's IFA to run your brackets. I mean, like, why is your brackets guy fucking the deciding factor if people get banned? Like, so
to me,
if my janitor was a janitor at fucking IFA. Yeah. The whole event is banned because the janitor was at the IFA. Like, come on, dude.
To me, it's real simple. If you're not under a professional contract, pull where you want.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it does not have to be this hard.
Well, we've
I'm
all
sure we all can agree. If you're
Yeah, we
under
all agree on
contract
that.
with East West, no one would have a problem with them telling you that you can't go pull somewhere else. I would understand that.
Well,
But
a lot of it too is like people try to separate East versus West from WAF. Like Engen has nothing to do with the bands. Well, we had that lawyer on from Bulgaria the other day, and he's like, well, that's bullshit. He's like, 100% it's Engen hitting up WAF, telling them to ban you because WAF isn't paying attention to our small tournaments.
Mhm.
It's fucking Engen. And then
Yeah.
he's calling WAF and going, hey, this guy pulled here. Tell him he's banned.
Yeah,
That's how it's going down.
I think me and Mikey knew that firsthand that it's Engen making the phone calls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I mean,
for sure.
think about it. Who's Engen picking?
Yeah.
People from over here, man. He's letting the small promoters over here do the heavy work, and then he's plucking who he wants, right?
It's like he should be plucking his eyebrows. Yeah, you're all banned. Every single one of you.
And look, I buy every East West. You know, it isn't like I'm hating on him. It's just
I used to.
Does it say you still do? Laray, you
What's
still
that?
buy them? Currently, you
Yeah,
still buy
I
them?
mean, I do. I enjoy arm wrestling. You know, that's the only reason I do. And it's just like when I buy an event, well, is this IFA or is this W? It isn't that. If it's an interesting card to me, I buy it. You know.
Yeah.
I can't watch it because I throw my beer at the TV at the referees.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to get it, but once he personally attacked us, I was like, fuck this. You know, like.
I didn't buy the last King of the Table because to me that was a joke of a card, dude. Like the whole publicity matches are way overplayed. Like it's over, bro. Like those are not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, who's buying the pay-per-views? Not regular people, arm wrestlers. And we're getting tired of seeing this big star pull a YouTube star. We don't care about that. Put high-level arm wrestlers up there and we'll buy it all day.
No offense to Devin, but it's annoying too to see his antics lately. It's like too much, you know.
That's been like that for a long time.
Yeah. It just seems like it's just getting worse and worse. And then now his son's doing it, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, that's what we tried to do with we threw out Landon, right? Hey, Landon's same age as, you know, same age, same weight. Pull him.
Yeah.
Nah, not interested.
I know Paul tried to throw money on it too. Yeah.
Yeah, $5,000, bro. Come on. Like you ain't. And I get money isn't everything to everybody, but that we knew that he wasn't going to accept it before we even said it. We just threw it out there to show everybody, look, he doesn't want to arm wrestle real arm wrestlers. Okay, time to move on. See,
they canceled their Challenger series, basically saying that they don't have the money to do it.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
In Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it just announced it today, right?
Just put it out today. They're not doing the Challenger series for lack of funds. Like, I wonder if that's why Engen's teaming up with Robert Baxter to try to get some, someone that can bankroll it or something.
Like, to me, the last challenge, and again, that was a great event. I bought that one. It seemed like the setup was great. The presentation was fantastic, but like just rumors of hearing how much that costed, I'm like, there's no way this is going to be sustainable. It's just not. And it's not Chance's fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just when you go that all out for something like that, I don't see that happening, a lot. I just don't. Like, you don't make your money back on that. People aren't going to set money on fire. I'm sorry. They're just not going to.
Yeah, not consistently. And Robert Baxter's like he owns like some crazy businesses and stuff. So if he sees it's taking a loss, I can't see him continuing to take a loss,
Hey, Sean, how long have you been in arm wrestling?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've been in and out for 30 years, but I've been back in steadily since 14.
But you've seen these big promotions come and go. And they always do. They always come. and
Yeah.
they blow
Yeah,
up.
but that's when we got back in
Yeah.
because of the whole WAL, because everything like I said, for so long everything was so stale. I mean, it was either in a sports expo or a hotel ballroom, and it just got to be so goddamn boring. I mean, you could have more fun arm wrestling in a ballroom, just for fun, than going to one of the tournaments. But then when WAL came out, then it got fun again.
Yep.
And
we do need these big promotions. It's just I wish somebody like Sean. I wish somebody like Sean could be the one in charge of this stuff, because he has the knowledge of how to run these events, and I don't know.
Well, I tried, and that's what keeps me from doing anything real big. To be honest, is the money thing. You can't. I have not found a way to keep from losing. The bigger I try something, the more money I lose.
Yeah.
The bigger I go, the more money I lose. So, I mean, I've tried some pay-per-view stuff, and with the trying to help the Knuckles Up guys when they first started. I was trying to give them, because I had already tried it, I already done it, and I failed at it. So I didn't want to see them fail at it. So I was giving them all kind of little pieces of nuggets of advice, or things that I failed at, that I tried, that I wasn't able to do, I wasn't able to succeed at. And so I was hoping that they could keep on going. And knowing what I know about it, and I'm watching their production, it makes me wonder, how in the hell are they still going? Because I don't know how they're still, staying above water, because I know how damn hard it is. But I hope they do. But unfortunately, we just don't have the viewership or the following and the sponsorships. So even whenever there are big things that come out on TV, there's a lot of sponsorships that follow them. And they pick up and help pay for it. I don't know if Knuckles Up has any sponsorships. I know I never did. I tried like hell to. I had a damn write-up, and I sent it to probably over 100 corporations, trying to find sponsorships, and just could never get any sponsorship from anybody.
That's the hardest part, man. About to
It is. So. I mean, I know how to do some big stuff, but I'm not going to come out of my pocket to do it anymore.
Yeah, and that was my point. Like, we've seen them come and we've seen them go, man, and they always come and go. I mean, look at WAL. Dude, they were throwing out crazy money.
Yeah.
But guess what? They flamed out quick.
Yep.
And
there wasn't no money in it. They found out there wasn't any money in it.
No.
And most promoters are doing everything themselves. Like, you're planning the event, ordering the trophies, and then to try to track down sponsors at the same time is like, it's a lot. It's almost like a full-time job.
And that's coming from us. I mean, most arm wrestling promoters are regular people, right? We have jobs,
Mm-hmm.
And so then go back to WAL. Robert Kaplan, that dude's a millionaire, and he was still losing money, and he still looked at it and said, nope, not worth it. I'm out. So what do you think about the regular promoters who are spending their bill money on tournaments? Do you think they're going to keep doing that? No.
Yep. But I don't know the solution. I used to think that I had some ideas for the solution, and now I couldn't give you one idea of what I think the solution is.
You know what the solution is you message people, tell them not to go to the other guy's events and to come to yours.
Oh,
That seems to be the new trend.
Well,
just kidding.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's aggravating. I mean, I've held tournaments where I've had no payout, 70 entries, ran one table. And I've ran tournaments where I've had 260 entries and gave cash payouts. And the crazy thing is, you make more money as a promoter holding these little rinky-dink tournaments.
Yep.
But that's just not in my DNA. I don't want that. I want to have a competitive, high-level event with high-level pullers. I don't.
Yep. Well, you and I promoted one last year together, and it had a pretty good turnout. I can't remember the turnout exactly, but it was a pretty damn good turnout. And I remember the net was $500.
Yeah, it was like 170 entries.
Yeah, and I mean the profit off of that was $500. Yeah.
Yeah, once you pay everybody, and if you got to pay for the venue or awards, like, it adds up quick. And all these people always think you're making $1 million, and it's like, dude, I'm fucking lucky if I'm in the positive.
Yeah,
that's another thing, man. Like, in any other sport, where does the athletes like look down on the promoters? Right? Not
Yeah.
only in arm wrestling, bro. It's
They
like
feel like
they
we're
look at
getting
us.
over on them or something.
Yeah,
It's
they
actually,
look.
it's funny you say that. I've never thought about that before, but back to bodybuilding, I always thought the promoters were the coolest people.
Yeah.
I respected the shit out of them.
But when an arm wrestler comes to your tournament, he's gonna. How much is entries? 50. Like it's our problem. Like we're screwing them out of money or something. Like, buddy, that doesn't happen in any other sport, man. It's crazy. It's crazy how entitled it's become. And like you said, Sean, you tried to do bigger things. Well, it's only going to get worse because now, 10 years ago, you could, for a high level pro, if you had to pay them to show up, a couple $100, right? Yeah, not now. Try $2,000 to show up,
Yeah. And right. Yeah. It's nuts. But I mean, the only way, that's what I tell, the only way that I've not lost money is by giving away money, is by having sponsors to pay for it. If I don't, I can't anymore. People they call me all the time. They said, "What's the payout for this one?" I said, "Man, I don't have sponsorship for this one. Sorry." And if we do have sponsorship, like the one down in Florida we did for Sarah Backman, we had they sponsored that payout money, and that's the only way I can do payouts anymore, because if you don't have sponsorship, you're gonna end up paying it out of your pocket.
Yeah.
And we would have that one right there too, because there wasn't that great of a turnout. So that money would have came out of my damn pocket if we didn't have the sponsorship money to do it with.
Absolutely.
Well, I've had pros ask, like, are you guys putting some money out? And I'm like, well, if I do that, then I don't have any money to buy the trophies for the next tournament. So it's like we won't have a promotion if we keep running down that road.
Yeah.
They really want you to use your pocket. Like they look at, if you tell somebody, I can't tell you how many times I've told somebody that, and they're like, they look at me weird, like, oh, would come up with the money to buy it. Like, I shouldn't have to, man. Like, this is its separate, its own entity, I shouldn't have to go into my own personal, money to come out of that. It should be a rollover, like you're doing, Ryan. Like, you're doing it great.
Well, I mean, it works so far. It's worked out, but there are times where it's really like Winter Blast is so big, like we just don't have the money to like put out. Like, Sean, how like when you start flying in refs and you start covering hotels, like, I mean, we just don't have it, So yeah, I mean, when we get
that is the biggest
money into that, like, right away.
That's the biggest cost with the tournaments, is bringing in your staff, bringing in quality staff. And if somebody wanted a shitty tournament with the refs pulled out of the crowd, paying them $50, I can do that, and I can do some payouts. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bring in some quality staff, and my quality staff, my rule of thumb is it costs $1,000 per person. So if I have 3 reps come in, that's $3,000. If I have a bracket person come in, it's another $1,000. And I usually that's the typical. I normally bring in 3 extra reps and a bracket person, so I got $4,000 in just staff.
And that's like flight, hotel, and
paying them.
Yeah. I mean, that's accurate.
Yep. So you have $4,000 or $5,000 in staff is easy per tournament, and then you got to make 100 entries just to pay the staff.
Right.
And then that ain't even started on your awards and your travels or anything else yet.
That's why, like, as sponsorship money comes in, I try to throw it at that stuff right away and not count the money that we're getting like the day of the tournament on entries. I try to pay off in advance if I can,
Yep.
That's smart. And I mean, outside of a handful of these elite events, like your Winter Blast and like, Michigan State's, to me, tournaments are getting smaller and smaller and smaller because people don't care about tournaments for some reason. It's too easy to go down the road and arm wrestle a super match in my buddy's garage, and it counts for me being active.
Everybody asks, are you doing super matches at your event? I'm like,
it's crazy to me. Like,
then there's ever since COVID, the end of COVID, we've had so many new promoters pop up, and there's tournaments. There's like double the tournaments now than what there used to be.
Dude, up in my area, there's one every weekend. Within a 2-hour radius, I can go to one every single weekend pretty much.
Yeah, we just have way too many tournaments right now. I think that is the problem with the entry count. But like Laray was saying, because here in Hattiesburg, we usually, I think we have a really big practice club now. So they would prefer to go to the practice club and practice and be a practice champion versus going to the tournaments.
Sean, how many entries did you have at Mississippi State this year?
There was the smallest Mississippi State that I've ever had.
Exactly.
Ever.
I remember, like, I've never been to a Mississippi State, but that's a premier tournament. You know,
Yeah,
to me, like
it
that.
is.
Well, you've had 300 plus, right?
Absolutely. And that's what it normally was. That was the consistent was over 300. And that is a premier venue, premier tournament. I mean, you don't get any better than that. As far it fits all the criteria, and people love that event. Why the hell it's dropping off, I cannot tell you. But this year was the smallest Mississippi State, including from the very first year, it was bigger than this year.
Damn.
Yeah, tournaments are taking a hit, man. It's like people only care about one-on-one. And
Well, it could be the economy too, like
yeah, for sure.
gas prices,
Well,
food.
that plays a role.
You know, maybe
It's not like that everywhere. Like Georgia this year, it had a bigger crowd in Georgia than I've ever had. I had a bigger crowd in Vegas this year than I ever had. Probably in Arkansas was one of my biggest. So it hadn't been all over the place like that, but there have been some that have really surprised me that they were just way too small than they should have been.
Yeah. I have a question. So a buddy of mine just did a tournament a few weeks back, and I want to get the as a promoter and as a ref, two different sides of it. So the tournament had a shitty turnout. So all the refs left, and were promised they'd get Venmo'd, and not one of them has yet. Ooh. Now, how do you handle that as a ref and as a promoter? How do you handle a situation where like you had a small tournament and you can't afford to pay your refs? To me, I'm
you don't have a damn tournament. You don't have a tournament if you don't have the money in your pocket to pay them.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
And you take a loss. I've done that before. I've taken. Matter of fact, I remember one year my loss was in the 5 digits. My loss for the year was in 5 digits. It was over $10,000 for that year.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I mean, I've had small ones where I was like, fuck, I might have to pay them out of my own pocket, which luckily I didn't, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
My buddy was like, dude, none of us have been paid. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, you can't do that. You got to carry the money with you, and you got to pay them. But and I've done that. Matter of fact, there's some of my events that I'll do that turn out to be stupid small, and my staff, they know that it was stupid small. They know that I'm going to take a hit. And they're like, man, I know you normally pay me $200. Just give me my gas money for this one. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you just your gas money, but I appreciate you taking a little bit less, though. You know, so
yeah. I've had guys offer to take less, like if it was a small turnout, but we had enough to pay them, so it didn't end up being an issue. But it was nice. It was nice that they were thinking of the promotion, like, oh, dude, you only had 30 people, like, fuck, you know. But
another thing that's crazy to me too. Again, coming back to bodybuilding, I respected the promoter. I respected the event so much. I just wanted to be part of it. I can't tell you how many times I volunteered my time just to help expedite backstage. It's strange to me that in arm wrestling, nobody seems to want to volunteer to help with brackets or or repping or
find staff, dude. It really is.
I do have one referee, and I'm not going to say his name. I wish I could. I wish I could give him a huge shout out. But I'm afraid if I do, then he'll probably get calls from every promoter to come. But he's never let me pay him. I've got one. I've got one referee, and you know who you are, and I love you, and I thank you for that. But he's never let me pay him.
Yeah, I got a few guys like that, and
he just loves to be part of it.
I have to if I want to pay him, I have to stick it in his pocket when he's not looking. You know?
Dude, call me crazy, and I don't know if again, this comes from my background. I enjoy doing brackets. I genuinely feel like, and I'll put it out on air. If anybody needed help with brackets, I would.
I hate that. I hate that part.
I really would. I don't know. Maybe I'm different.
Yeah,
There's a lot. I've known some people that like brackets, but that's just something I hate. That's like sitting down and I don't know, freaking crocheting a blanket or something.
I mean,
I
it's
hate it.
stressful as shit, but that's what I love about it is I love the challenge. You know, can you make a tournament run smooth? And I think it all comes down.
see, every time
Obviously,
I've attempted to do brackets, some emergency happens and I have to stop what I'm doing, and then someone has to jump in. So I'm like, I need like a dedicated bracket guy, because there's always something crazy going on. And maybe it's just our tournaments, you know?
Yeah.
No, you just like to mingle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the mingling part is what makes people come to my next tournament, because I go introduce myself to people that I don't recognize and I invite them to Winter Blast, or that seems to have worked pretty well for us.
So let's talk about some upcoming tournaments. I know I got something coming up in Nashville pretty soon next month. The I think it's on Boom Arm Wrestling. I think it's the 9th, and Laray's going to be there helping me with that. So we're going to put out and it's right on Broadway, at the one of the premier venues right there on Broadway. Can't even remember the name of it, but anyway, so that's going to be a really, really fun one. Then the first part of December, we got Laray's there up in Knoxville. Going to be super amount of fun. Then we're going to have Winter Blast over there. We got a really good thing set up for Winter Blast, where we're going to have Arm Gods over there doing their Arm God show on Friday night, and some super cool guy ended up finding hooking up for this really good venue, and they're at a casino. So we got a really, really good venue now.
Yeah, Sean has helped 98 tremendously, got us that venue, and it's in fucking Valley Forge Casino. Awesome venue, and thank you for helping us with that.
Well, the main reason I wanted to do that, because I didn't want to be in a damn hotel ballroom again. I hate hotel ballrooms.
I think we outgrew that anyway.
Oh, yeah, it was way too small. But anyway, so that's going to be a really, really fun one. We'll have Arm Gods there on Friday night, and then the big event. So I got a team of referees coming to do that. All quality, fast, super good referees. Corey's going to be doing brackets. So that's going to be the event of the year up there at Winter Blast. What do you have coming up over there, Mikey?
You know, it's funny you say that. Actually, December 7th, we have Florida State's. But I will not be attending my event because I will be at Laray's event December 7th. I don't say how much I respect Laray and what he's doing.
Ditching your own event.
Ditching my own event.
Well, what you got anything big in the works? What y'all looking like? I know that you and Sarah has just now broke out doing your own thing, which I've been pushing that real hard, and I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, Sarah's got a little super match card, which is pretty cool. She got a really good sponsor that's big in the like the steak industry, and it's going to be like a big steak dinner show, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's November 14th. Then November 16th, Bill Collins gave me a UAL event to run at an expo that following weekend.
Cool. So where's that one at?
That one is in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
South Florida.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Killing it.
It's fun. I love it, dude.
And then I know that you're going to have one in Orlando next summer at an expo, at a big expo there, a big USA Fit Games expo in Orlando.
There we go.
Yeah. Have got a new contractor on that one.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I talked to the owner of USA Fit Games today, and I had already told him. I said, I got a new one for your Orlando games. I said it's going to be better than the one last year. And he said, okay, good, because that one last year, it just went way too fast and they weren't very organized, whatever else. I said, I understand. I've already heard. I said, I got you somebody.
Yeah.
I'm still putting Boom seasoning on all my food.
Man, talking about Boom, I have a Bloody Mary line coming out. I hadn't talked about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because it's still in the production phase right now, but I mean we did the labels today. It's going to be stupid good. So really anything that you can imagine having in a Bloody Mary, we have jarred up in Bloody Mary mix. So we'll have pickles in Bloody Mary mix. We'll have okra in Bloody Mary mix, olives, shrimp, in Bloody Mary mix, anything you put in a Bloody Mary, we're going to have it in its own jar of mix. So when you, and just to eat, you know, so when you eat all the pickles and everything, you still have half a jar of Bloody Mary mix. Then you put your little vodka and some ice cubes in there and you drink it. So
Hey, bring some of that to Nashville, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll pick up some for sure.
Absolutely. And I have my own formula of Bloody Mary cocktail mix. So that's what started it. And then the lady who's doing all of my social media, not my social media, my marketing, she does vegetables. She does pickled vegetables. And I said, well, shoot, let me take your pickled vegetables and just take out your vinegar and put my Bloody Mary mix in there and let's try it like that. And dude, it is stupid good. It is so good.
That's awesome.
Those pictures you posted, I was like, bro, I need a jar of them eggs, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yep. Bloody Mary quail eggs.
Dude, I put that stuff on everything. No joke.
Yeah. Well, the boom seasoning, it really is good. I made that just for myself. I was never intending to do anything commercial with it. I was giving it away. I made it for myself. And all of my friends liked it so much. I said, well, shoot, I'm going to start giving away for gifts, you know, for Christmas gifts. I don't know what to get anybody. And I hate shopping. So I just started making up batches and bottling up real pretty and giving it away for gifts. Well, then I started giving it away. They were like, man, you got to sell this stuff. You got to sell it. It's great on everything.
I bought some and then you gave us a free one down in Florida like the next week. Now I got two and I'm like, I just throw it on everything. I'm like, oh, that's good on that. Wouldn't have thought. Oh, it's
I had one lady leave me a review. She said that she started putting it in a bottle and the lid came off and it dumped like half the jar in her thing of collard greens. And she's like, she thought she made a mistake, but she said it didn't. It made it taste even that much better. I said, yeah,
nice.
it's hard to overdo it because it doesn't have much sodium in it. You know, it's just a lot of other seasonings in there, so it makes it taste good.
Yeah, definitely. You can't overuse it for sure.
I've challenged people. I've even put that challenge out there publicly a couple of times. I challenge you to overdo it. Try to overdo it.
I put it on eggs, dude. It was good on eggs. And I accidentally opened the wrong side and fucking too much poured out. And I'm like,
yes,
fuck.
You did the same thing. Yeah.
Same thing. And I was like, oh, it didn't even make it tasted like it wasn't overdone at all.
Yeah. I went to I'd like to tell people this one story, and it's just real quick, but I went to a marketing meeting one day with it, and it was with several other products, and there was a whole bunch of, I mean, the ladies sitting around that table, they looked like they were, you know, millionaire ladies, multimillionaire ladies. They're wearing all these diamonds, you know, got the rings on and the way they're dressed, you know. So I felt way out of place, right? So I'm sitting there with all these ladies, and I'm just going to be myself. So I'm starting to talk to them just like I'm talking right now, just real fast, and I'm letting it flow and everything. And this one lady over there, she's sitting there, and she's the one that's got the most diamonds and everything on, and she's got the lid off of one of the jars, and she's sticking her finger in it. And the whole time I'm talking, she's just eating. She's just eating it. This real ritzy, proper lady, she just eating off her finger.
That's
and
hilarious.
then Melissa, my marketing girl, she said, are you just eating it off your finger? She said, yeah, I did this all day yesterday. I can't put it down. It's so good. She's just eating off her finger.
Guess nobody used her jar to put on their food after that. Man, that's awesome though.
Yeah.
I was doing that at the restaurant where you gave it to us. I opened mine right away and was like, I'll try it on my pizza.
Well, you know, the seasoning is all granules. So it's like dehydrated granules. So when you let it soak in the Bloody Mary mix, it kind of swells up a little bit and it floats all in the mix. It doesn't float to the bottom. It floats all up in the mix. So when you're drinking your drink, you kind of have little things to chew on after you swallow. I know it sounds kind of weird. It does sound weird, but it'll leave you like little pieces of a bell pepper to chew on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
There's a good question from Cody about refs.
What about refs, Cody?
As a ref, depending on experience level, what's a fair rate to ask for? It's hard to not run people off, but also not undervalue yourself and end up working your ass off because there's only two refs.
All right, so Cody, what you got to do is you got to stand up to the promoter and tell them your rate. Whatever your rate is to you, whatever you think that you're worth, you got to tell them that, because promoters will run over you and promoters will take you for free if they can. And it's happened to me. You know, they'll just do whatever they can to get you as cheap as possible or not even pay you at all. But so just tell them your rate. But to give you a rule of thumb, like a master of the decent, I mean, a fair rate for a decent sized tournament for a master's $300, for a senior's $200, for a junior's $100. If it's somebody just starting out, and I'm working with them, they'll come in, I'll throw them $50 or something like that. They're just starting out and they're there anyway. But if they were coming there just to work, that's going to be the rate that I'd pay them: master 300, senior 200. Junior 100. But if it's something that's multiple days, it's going to adjust from there. Or if it's a super huge tournament, it'll adjust from there. I'm never going to offer somebody less than $300 if they're a master. But at the same time, if it's they came and there's only like 50 entries, they'll, on their own account, they'll say, man, I'm not going to take 300 for this. Just give me 200. Then I'm okay with that. I'll just give them 200, but I'll still offer them the 300. But there's a basic rate. But the biggest thing is, don't let promoters run you over, because they will do it if you let them.
So you base it on experience level?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. See, I never really looked at it that way, just because I'm not, a high level ref or anything. So I always look at it as like the size of the tournament.
Yeah.
Like if it's I go by the almost not hourly, but I kind of base it on, like, was it a 4-hour event or was it a 6-hour event?
And then you're going to give everybody the same pay?
Well, I do the same for the head refs, same for the down refs.
Yeah.
Usually. Lately, our small tournaments, what I've been doing is I take out the money, what I need for the next trophies, and then I count all the people I got to pay and kind of divide it up and go, okay, I can afford to do this, and this for each person.
Yeah.
But I try to keep it close to the same, like head refs, obviously you pay more than a down ref, but I try to, whatever we have left, I try to divvy it up between the employees.
Yeah.
I'll put like 600 or 1,000 out of it for trophies for the next event, and whatever's left, I just divvy it all up for the people that help.
Ryan, there's nothing wrong with you making money, Ryan.
I
mean, if you had an agreement with your staff that they're going to make a certain amount, pay them that certain amount, and then if you have something left over, put it in your pocket, because hosting tournaments is hard work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. There's nothing wrong with a promoter making money. I don't understand why in arm wrestling it's supposed to be a taboo for a promoter to make money. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It almost like you feel guilty making money off it.
Bullshit.
That's
bullshit. If I make $10,000, I'm putting it in my pocket. I'm going to.
I guess I got to get that. I still am trying to like make sure everybody's happy, and
well
that goes back
I've lost $10,000, so if I make it, I'm good.
Yeah.
That goes back to what I was saying earlier, man. It's like the pullers almost shame you into going home with zero, dude.
Yeah, it's true.
They look at you like, you took home 3,000. You should have gave that to us, like that type of stuff.
Dude,
that $3,000, I made less than minimum wage for that $3,000.
Yeah.
Oh, you can say that again.
For real.
They see you working as a 2-day event, Friday, Saturday. Nah, bro, we've been promoting this. We've been dropping graphics for 6 months. Like, I get off and work 2 hours a day on this stuff. Like, they don't see that stuff.
No.
But no, Sean's right, man, Ryan. Make your money, bro, because hear me out. They will take advantage of you. You start giving them extra.
If you don't, you're going to be just like the rest of them. You'll burn out. If you're not getting compensated somehow or another, if you're not making ends meet inside your mind, if nothing else, you're not going to keep doing it. You keep, and I tell people that, I warn people about that all the time. Don't do too much, and make sure you're getting compensated. If you're not getting compensated, you're not going to keep doing it.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there are days where I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, when you start having those days become more and more and more. So you got to fall back on something. What I do when I have those days, when my fallback is, I'm like, well, I mean, I just paid a house note this month, so I'll keep on doing it. I'll pay another house note.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I look at
You're describing me to a T, Sean, bro. I'm telling you, I've been promoting for, maybe 8 years, right? And I've used to hold just, regular tournaments. And I would make a little bit, right? Well, then this year, this is when we started expanding. We did the round robins, and we started holding these high-level events. But guess what? I've never made less.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
the money that burnt me out, it's everything, politics, all the BS. But the money definitely helps, man. It definitely
Yep.
helps.
Yeah, if you're not making the money, if you're not giving yourself a something in your mind to tell yourself, well, okay, I did deal with a bunch of bullshit, but at least I was compensated for it.
Yep.
If you're not getting compensated for it, and you're having to deal with a whole bunch of bullshit and dealing with a bunch of whiny people, and look, that touches on another topic. We're a combat sport. We're hands-on combat sport. Where are all the pussies coming from?
Fucking millennials.
Like seriously, there's more. Is there? I don't ever remember this much whining going on ever. Whining and shucking and not being honest and not being, loyal. Honesty and loyalty is two huge things with me. Be honest and be loyal. Okay. If you can't be one, at least be the other. But when you can't be either one, and you can't, so people can't tell you the truth because I don't know what they're afraid of. They're afraid of hurting your feelings, or they're afraid that you're going to fuss at them or something. But they don't tell you the truth, and then it wounds up coming back later on and biting them in the ass because you found out the truth.
Yeah.
You're like, well, now I'll just look at you like you're a douchebag. All you had to do was tell me the truth to begin with, and I'd be like, okay, that's fine, and whatever, it'd be fine. But I don't get why there's so much backbiting, so much complaining, and people just lying and not just standing up for. I don't know. I could go on with rants about that all night long, but I don't guess I should.
I think
So you said, dude, it's crazy. You picture an arm wrestler. If you close your eyes right now, picture an arm wrestler. You would imagine a manly man, like you said, integrity, not a bitch. And there's a lot of that in arm wrestling.
Yeah. Look, at some point, you gotta just grow a set. And I mean, I know girls with a bigger set than a lot of these guys.
Yeah. It is, it's discouraging because a lot of these guys try to do the math in their head like, oh, you had this many entries times this entry fee and you're making all this money. And it's like, yeah, but you guys don't see all, what we're paying the staff, how much the trophies are. Sometimes venues you got to pay for, sometimes not. But a lot of guys. Oh, let me ask that question. What do you guys do with like staff? Do you let your staff pull X amount of, for free or whatever? Like if someone's reffing, do you let them pull for free?
That comes out of their compensation.
Okay, because I've had some refs where like they want to get paid full amount, but then they pull 4 or 5 classes for free, and they think that that's okay. And I'm like, man, when you start adding it up, I'm like, man, I lost $1,000 just in free fucking entries.
Yeah. I know other promoters will be real strict about it. Like if you were supposed to get paid $200 and their entry fee is $50, and you pull 3 classes, you're going to get paid $50. I'll give a referee 1 class, for free. But if they start pulling multiple classes, it'll come out, and I'll let them know that it's this. I gave you the first class for free, but just coming out of your pay, and they're all cool with that. But and that's another thing about
I have to make it like a rule and make everybody know that this is what's going to happen, because I feel like a few guys are just expecting it now, like it's normal. And
well, it doesn't have to be a rule, and it doesn't have to be set in stone with everybody, but you need to let everybody know what you're going to do. That's what I was telling Cody beforehand. Before you go to a tournament before you go ref a tournament, let that promoter know what you're expecting and have that out. And look, I'm getting my gas paid for, I'm getting my hotel paid for, and I need $200.
Yeah.
And if you want to pull 2 classes on top of that, tell them that too. And I want to pull 2 classes. If they agree to it, fine. If they don't agree to it, they say, well, no, I'm going to pay you $100. You can pull 2 classes. Okay, but at least you had the agreement.
Yeah. And a lot of refs don't actually even give any demands or an amount. So, I have to like say, hey, are you okay with this? Yeah. But I think that's something I have to get more strict with. Is some guys just think they can pull like 4 or 5 classes, and I'm like, dude, we're losing way too much money.
Ryan, you got to grow a pair. You got to grow a pair, Ryan.
I know.
I've dealt with people.
My nuts are so small right now. It's crazy.
I've dealt with people that tells you one thing and then When
Yeah.
they get there, they expect more, and you're like, hold on a minute, what? You told me this, and now you're asking for more? Like,
Oh, I
Yeah.
love Messenger. I love
You bring that
Messenger.
up.
The invention of Messenger is great because I'll message it.
yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
it helps me a lot too because a lot of times I'll talk to them about it 6 months prior and I forgot what we talked about, so I can scroll through without having to ask them, and they'll sit to each other like, "Oh, I don't remember. Oh, I don't remember." I'll just scroll through and find our message.
Chris kind of touched on that at one of the tournaments. I'm not gonna say Tim's name, but no. But anyway, apparently, like something like he came a day early and then wanted to be compensated for that day earlier, something like that.
Yeah. That
When
did happen.
When he was actually like there to see his friends the day before, they bailed on him, and then he wanted you guys to like cover.
That happened.
That's crazy.
Again, I'm not going to come on here and make
Yeah.
a bash fest,
Yeah, we
but
won't
if you
say
ask
it.
me, I'm going to tell you, bro. I'll tell you straight up what's true, what ain't.
You know, and I don't want to say Tim's name, so we'll keep it anonymous.
No, that did happen, man. And,
Yeah.
you know, that definitely happened. And, you know,
That's
I was never the money guy. You
Yeah.
come to me, I'm going to send you to Chris, right? Don't come ask me for that.
Yeah,
you
and
know? I
Chris
don't
said
know.
he was actually nice enough to throw him some extra
He
money
did.
to be nice to just accommodate the situation and you know, but
That one was tricky because, like you said, he did come a day early, and we're like, he calls me, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm not the boss, but let me call Chris, see what we can do. Okay, got that taken care of, and then all right, Sean's here. He's probably one of the biggest, highest level refs in the United States. Let me ask you this: if I hire you, right, let's just say I hire you for a tournament this Saturday, right? You're going to give me a rate for that event.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't charge me one. You wouldn't say, oh, well, your super match event, that's one event, and then your tournament, that's a second event. So I'm gonna charge you for two events. You wouldn't do that.
just give one price for the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think what me and you've already done is exactly what I do. I'd get it out right up front. Hey, I need $300. What is
Right.
this? It's gonna be two smaller events. So you know what? I'll do both of them for $300.
Yeah.
You just do it like that. But I'm gonna get it out ahead of time. I'm not gonna wait till I get there and then start trying to renegotiate or say you owe me for an extra day or you owe me for this or that. It just kind of. No matter who we're talking about, that's just the best protocol for business is to go ahead and get it all out ahead of time and write it down and have it on Messenger because both of you have it then.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. No,
that's what I've been working on lately is to just be more vocal about expectations so that there are no issues.
Yep.
Best way
Look,
to do
and
it.
you'll come to people appreciate that. I know that I do. Like I said, I just went back to the example. If somebody starts, telling me, feeding me with bullshit, most of the time I can read through the bullshit. So I already know you're feeding me a line, So I'm like, okay, it's going to take me a while to figure out the truth. But then when I do figure out the truth, I'm like, son of a bitch,
Yeah.
So just be straight with them right off the bat, and they'll appreciate it, even if it's bad news.
Yeah, I've made that mistake, Ryan, where I didn't hash out something before, and then they come ref my event, and then they come up to me, hey, I need this. I'm like, ooh, didn't expect that, but here you go,
Mm-hmm.
So I will never make that mistake again. And that was the whole thing, like with the December event, pre-register, like the whole budget's laid out, right? I'll know what we have at the end of the deadline. I can go ahead and pay these guys if I want, and I won't have to do that. So yeah, that's the best way to do it. Sean's
Yep.
telling
Mikey, was there anything else pressing on here that we need to touch on or anything like that?
No, I think the main thing was the whole band situation. Plus, I was just curious. I'm kind of glad we all got to come together as promoters and just talk about some stuff that we'd like to see change and let the common people know a lot of the obstacles we deal with as promoters.
Hey, I want to touch on one thing. Earlier you said, Ryan, you were talking about some promoter who, hey, I can't pay you. Let me Venmo you later.
Yeah.
In my opinion, dude, that's absolutely unacceptable.
I'll tell you guys who it is off air.
I'm just saying that is the problem with our sport. We need a collective umbrella or something where we can hold people accountable. And like if we
Yeah.
say we're in a group of say 16 promoters, and we hear, oh wait, this promoter didn't do. Oh no, you're out. Sorry,
Like
buddy.
a credit score for promoters. Like, no, don't go with that guy because he doesn't pay his reps.
Like what Sean said, there's way
Yeah.
too many events, sadly. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying people shouldn't hold events. Go for it. But like, let's have some structure, man. You know, some
Yeah.
structure helps. And there's only so many premier events. And
Well,
they
that's why-
should be the premier events. They should be the high shelf, and they should be the first priority events. And
Yeah.
it's
I'm hoping that's going to be a topic on our next roundtable thing with all of us promoters on it. You know, if Sean makes it this time.
I missed it last time too.
Actually,
Me too.
I was probably still on an airplane somewhere.
Yeah. I think everybody was just coming back. So like a lot of people missed it for that reason because of Worlds. So
My flight coming back, my travels was 32 hours getting back.
oh my god, dude!
And there was no sleeping.
That's almost a full work week.
Yeah, 32 solid hours with no sleep because for whatever reason, something's wrong in my brain. I can't sleep on an airplane. I don't know what it is.
Same
I've
here.
tried so many ways.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it went really good. Everybody introduced themselves. There was about 12 to 14 people on it, and some of the topics we discussed tonight are kind of the topics we were talking about, and trying to help and cross promote each other and work together rather than fight each other. So hopefully it will continue to move in the right direction.
We can cross promote and get along.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I thought it was called cross contaminate. That's what I've heard recently is cross contaminate.
Well, it only takes a drop of one drop of poison to contaminate an entire fucking.
No, what I heard recently was I have my own brand, me, PAL. I have my own brand that I push. So, another group working with me, they don't want to work with me because I have my own brand, and that, and in some way, I guess it would take away from their brand because I have my own brand. I'm like, okay, it's the first time I've heard that one.
One of the things we've started doing is some of the guys that like we work with regularly, I'm just putting their fucking logos like Mikey's and yours, on their logos on my stuff, like just to like
look. That was my whole point. But, me cross working with all of y'all and putting y'all's logos on my shit, my logos on y'all shit. That like makes all of us look big. So for somebody to say, I don't want to work with you because that's cross contaminating pretty much because you have your own brand and your brand will take away from my brand. I'm like, that's not really the way that I saw it, but
hell no.
You want to think.
I think it's exciting when you see everybody's logos together and like,
me too.
Working together.
Too many people want the credit, man. Like they want to be known as the high chief.
Or like everyone's using Aries, like throw their logo out there on your stuff. Like it doesn't hurt to promote other people.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we got anything else? Y'all gonna let me off here because my girlfriend just got home.
Oh, Sean, I got one more for you. Andy wants to know, how is your dog?
My dog is doing so much better. Whenever I took him to the vet, they got overzealous with the shears, with the trimmers. He's a long hair Dachshund, and all of this long hair on the back of his arms, on his chest, that shit literally takes 2 years to grow. 2 years to grow.
He's gonna be cold this winter.
And so there's no reason, like he had nothing wrong with his chest. They shaved off all of his chest hair, and that stuff was like that long. It takes 2 years to grow.
Poor guy.
One arm, all this stuff that was hanging down, they shaved his whole arm off. One damn arm. I'm like, did you really have to do him dirty like that?
Oh, poor guy. Oh man. Well, I can't wait to see him next.
He's doing really good though. Other than that, I mean, he don't want to look in the mirror. He's kind of bashful, but he's doing good. He's running full speed. He's chasing squirrels every day. He's not hiding anymore. He's hanging out with his daddy. Yeah, we rode the tractor around for a couple hours a day, so he's doing good. All right, and I do appreciate all the support from everybody. and I figured he would because he meets a lot of people and everybody loves him. So I figured he would get a lot of support, but I do appreciate that from everyone.
Dude, when you showed like when he wasn't being himself and he was in the corner, I was like, oh my god, dude. That, like,
Think about me, it's breaking my damn heart. And I
Yeah.
just got through with my best friend dying, and I go through that with O, and I'm like, oh, I just want to die.
Yeah, dude, that was a rough month for you, man.
It was.
Hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, I pulled my bicep off, so it's getting great.
I mean, bad things usually happen in threes, so maybe you're good moving forward.
I think I should be good for a decade now. Hopefully for a decade, at least a decade. Yeah,
For real.
Hey, I have the venue, Sean, for that event. Tequila Cowboy, Broadway, Nashville.
yeah. But it's Jason Aldean's. That's who I was thinking of. It's
Yeah.
the Jason Aldean building.
Yeah.
So it's the bottom floor of Jason Aldean's. Yeah, Tequila Cowboy, right on Broadway. So it's like one of the it's one of the two biggest, best places on Broadway in Nashville. So if you can come to that is going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
So November 4th.
9th.
9th.
Yeah.
Yeah, November the 9th on Broadway in Nashville. And
It-
again,
One of the topics on the roundtable was trying to improve venues, like not always doing it in a dive bar. And if you do, and you're going to have a live feed, at least have a banner to try to make it look more professional to the world.
yeah.
If you're live feeding.
Yeah. That's one thing I always try to do. I might not always have a live feed, but I'm going to have a top-notch venue. I'm going to have a really fun venue, somewhere that people want to go and hang out. Because again, I'm having tournaments now in places that I wish I could have competed in them, a decade or two ago when we were having them in damn hotel ballrooms.
Yep.
Dude, like the Sarah Bachman in Harley was cool as shit.
That was cool.
That was cool. It was a little nerve-wracking. It wasn't my favorite type of venue, but it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just nervous that I was going to fucking knock a bike over.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Then they didn't clean it out very much. There was motorcycles everywhere.
They left more than I thought they were going to, for sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We were probably more nervous than the staff was about knocking bikes over.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what insurance is for.
If anybody goes to any tournament besides Winter Blast, make it it needs to be the one in Vegas, my one in Vegas in March. That if you've never been to that one, that's the funnest tournament that I've ever hosted. It's the funnest tournament that I've ever been to.
What's the date on that one?
March the 8th, I think. It's the IFA North American Championship.
Banned.
And it's in Binion's Casino on Fremont Street. And if you've never been to Fremont Street, that is a fun place. It's all inclusive. So that's one of the places you'll park your car in the garage on Thursday, Friday, whenever you get there, and you don't ever get back in your car until you get ready to leave Vegas because everything is right there.
Nice.
Corey on brackets for that one?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Got Corey on brackets, and I have all of the IFA International Master Referees reffing it.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah,
literally
that'd be a good
it's literally a world level tournament, but funner than Worlds.
Sean, I need your help with something.
What's that?
Corey is doing brackets at Winter Blast.
Yeah.
The same day as his wife's birthday.
Yeah.
So he's like, you guys got to do something special. Like, we got you, buddy. We gotta brainstorm something special for them to do while they're in the Philly area. So I was talking to Sue about it too. We're like, maybe like a nice dinner, a show or something. I got to look up what's going on that weekend. That way his wife doesn't kill him for coming to our tournament on her
No,
birthday.
she would. She's super, super cool, man. She's like one of us. She really is. So, I mean, she would be giddy just being there in the environment, having a good time. I'm not sure if Corey's been to Philly yet.
Yeah, he came last year. Well,
yeah.
I don't know if he went and saw.
Right, it's explored or whatever.
I know, but he reached out to me and was like, we got to do something for my wife this year because I went last year and it was her birthday last year too.
We'll go show him the what's it called, the tent hotel, the tent garden.
Oh my God! Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Where all the homeless people live.
Kensington fucking Streeter. Fucking, oh god.
Yeah, we'll go show him the Rocky Monument, the Rocky
He'll
Stairs.
never come again, dude, if we bring him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rocky statue. There's a lot of good restaurants.
You got the Liberty Bell. There's a lot of good things there in Philly.
A lot of history. If you like history, that's the place to go for sure.
Yep. Sure is.
We'll brainstorm something for him.
That was the nation's capital before Washington.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, I was gone for 2 weeks and for 10 days to Greece. And the day I got back, my girlfriend left, and before I even got back, and she's been gone this whole time. So this is the first time we've seen each other in like 3.5 weeks or something. Yeah. So she walked in the door, and I'm on the damn podcast. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I will get off. I'll get off quick."
Well, you two enjoy the rest of your evening then.
Yeah. All right. We'll see ya.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
All right. Bye.
Later.
Yeah, I can turn this thing off now. Y'all don't need to see what's next.
You go test out that bicep.
Shut up.
He's back. That was quick.
Jesus, you heard me. Damn it. He's a great dude. Super helpful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He found the venue for Winter Blast. We were looking, and he's like, he reached out to one of the places that I was thinking about, and he fucking nailed it for us. So
It's cool.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah, Sean's solid. I partnered with him last year with Tennessee State, and he was more than solid. Oh,
Yeah, dude. Super
comment.
nice guy.
All right.
Super loyal, you know.
Eggplant taco.
Taco. Yeah.
I feel like we need the theme music right now for Sean. What's next for you? I know what's next.
Not Mikey and Ryan.
That's fair.
That's funny.
Are we ending this? Or are we going to continue or what?
I mean, unless Laray's got anything else he wants to plug in or get off his chest.
Anybody else you want to shame?
I mean, if there's anything y'all want to know, I'll tell y'all the truth. You know, I don't want to make it seem like I'm coming off on anybody. You know,
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's kind of in the past.
I'll do that part for you.
Go for it, man. I mean, I did talk to him on the phone. He did call me.
Yeah.
I mean, he tried to clear things up. You know, it is what it is.
Hard. I mean, I got to be honest. Like when he was on the show, some of the stuff he said didn't really line up because I read the texts.
Yeah.
And some of them were not a warning about IFA. Some of them were just, don't go there. Mine's going to be bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now that's crossing the line big time.
Here's what I'll say. Okay. And this is what a lot of people didn't understand on the post, right? Sean's post was about the IFA, which Sean wasn't involved in other stuff, right? So I can understand that. But a lot of people were missing a lot of things, right? There's four different things here. The warning of an IFA, right? If he wants his explanation to be, well, I was just looking out for a friend. Okay, whatever. But you're using two IFA refs.
Right.
At the same event, same day. Right. Okay. Well, telling people not to come to ours, to come to his. Okay. I can see you're a promoter. You just got to do what you got to do to get people to your event. I understand that.
Most promoters I wouldn't do that.
Well, you wouldn't either, Laray. You wouldn't either. You wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's just me being open-minded. Okay, you're having an event the same day, whatever. But the third thing is, you know, it was announced in June, which was 4 months ago, that it was on the 14th. Okay, you switched it to the 7th. Okay, whatever. And then just when you combine all that, then that's where I have a problem with it. Because
it's too many. It's like 3 strikes, you're out.
yeah, if it was one thing, okay, cool. If it was 2 things, whatever. But all three, it just kind of looks funny. And I did tell him that. I'm like, you got to see where I'm coming from. And he was like, I can see where you're coming from. Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you got 15 plus people saying, hey, I'm being told this, I'm like, okay, well.
I'm pretty sure everyone saw, you know, once the things add up. You know, any one of those things by itself is not that bad.
Right.
But when you start having 2 or 3 things happen, And then more people are saying, "Oh, he told me the same thing," and then it's like, okay, that's not cool.
And I'm not gonna sit here and say it was malicious per se. Like, I'm sure Tim wants to be the best promoter in America. I'm sure that is what he wants, But there are certain ways to do it, man. Like, we could do this things together, like I said earlier.
Dude,
16 promoters together, like, we could all pitch a hell of an event. We could all pitch a hell of calendar, right? A whole year long of circuit of events.
Even just cross promoting between each other, like sharing each other's logos on stuff. And to me, that's like gold, because like you look affiliated with each other, and it really makes a united front for non-arm wrestling community to put eyes on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Rather than having like 20 separate fucking things going on. I think it looks cool to see us all kind of united working together. And I think that's the key to the future if we're going to be taken serious in the United States ever.
Yeah. I think the problem is, like I said, everybody wants to be the high chief, right? Everybody wants to be the top dog. They want to hold the keys in their hand. But really, to get this sport where it needs to go, there doesn't need to be one people. There need to be a team of about 20 to 30 people.
Yeah,
really.
I think that's why I like the roundtable thing, because I think that's the way to go.
I mean, just imagine. Let's just say Mikey, Ryan, hell, it's Tim, right? Sean, Steve Pettis. If you want to put myself in there, whatever. I don't consider myself a big promoter, but let's just say you had 10 of the biggest, best promoters, and we all threw. What your budget is for one tournament, right? For your big tournament. What if we all put it together and we had $250,000 of a budget?
Yeah.
And then no one's caring about, oh, well, I need that. No, it isn't about that,
And we're all fucking pooling together sponsorships and
because I promise you,
that's one of the topics that was on the round table was imagine being able to share sponsors with each other. And
like, I've not had great success at all with sponsors. I just haven't. That's just I'm horrible at it. I am. I'm horrible about asking for money. I don't like doing it. I hate it. Yeah. But like, if you go to a sponsor and they're serious, they're going to sit down with you and they're going to lay out your staff, right? They're going to see how much things cost. Well, if you go to them, well, I can run this tournament for $2,000. They're going to look at you and be like, well, that's not big, that I can throw you a little bit. But like, if we were all together and you came to them and said, yeah, this tournament, it's going to cost $250,000. They're going to look at that and be like, holy crap, man, that's something big.
Yeah.
Let me jump on board.
Yeah.
The bigger the numbers, that's when you start getting more support.
Tournament too. Like, I mean, I've gone to bars and asked for 500 and they look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Then I've gone to other bars and they're like, no problem. I'm going to make that on food and alcohol easy. So
that's how our round robin started, man. We had a venue say, hey, I'll give you $1,200. And I was like, oh my God, holy crap, dude. They're giving me $1,200. I'm not used to this. And Chris was like, what do you do?
There's our trophies right there, motherfucker.
Well, that's how we sparked the round robins, man. We took that 1,200 and we said, okay, here's 12. Let's get 12 more from the pullers, and that's 2,400. And there's your round robin.
Yeah.
And it hit off, and it's just
someone
man.
Recently asked me why I don't charge people to do a super match. I'm like, I don't know, like regular tournaments, a super match. I don't know anyone that charges to do super matches at like a regular tournament. Do you?
No, but
like your situation's different.
Yeah.
Because it's like a specific invitational.
Right.
But like, I don't know. And then the other thing is a lot of guys that do super matches then don't pull the tournament. So say you have 10 super matches, that's 20 people not pulling your tournament.
Exactly. And that's where I'm kind of headed. Like, I've never did that and I don't know anybody who does that, but the way we see tournaments decline, and like you said, I've seen tournaments have 60 entries, but 15 super matches. Those 15 super matches are 30 people benefiting from your staff that you've paid that they didn't put in on because they're not paying an entry.
I know. I wish people looked at it as when they're paying their entries, they're supporting the event. You know what I mean? Or even just showing up to see. If like I've gone to events where I didn't pull, but I still bought an entry and said just donate it to someone.
Yeah.
Just to support the event or go there and or even go just to support, but I promoted the shit out of it and brought people with me or something. You know, like there's ways to support without putting money in, you know, like if everybody, imagine if everybody self-promoted your fucking event because they're going to it, like,
yeah,
but nobody does, you know, like it's crazy that guys aren't like, hey, I'm going to this fucking and promoting an event that they're going to, you know.
That's why I liked the idea of the pre-registration, man. It's because once
TAL in the house,
once you do it, you're on there and you're registered and people know you're going. I mean, yeah, you can not show up, but I mean, you're going to be out your money, which whatever, but you're at least registered to go to that event, you know?
Yeah.
And it's better than just, well, today's Friday. Am I going to that tournament tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know who's going to be there, you know?
Yeah. That Google Doc thing we did, even though it wasn't like a pre-registration money-wise,
yeah,
it was so fucking nice to be able to go, okay, I know at least this many people are coming. Yeah. Like it's a load off your shoulders. So if you know, look, check into it. It's real easy to set up a Google Doc to just send to people and they just fucking, yep, I'm pulling this.
Yeah.
Fucking here's my email. Because a lot of people put their email on it and I'm like, oh, sweet. Now I can add them to my mailing list. So when I'm doing big events, I can like shoot out like a blast to emails too.
And for me, I love the promotion side and the marketing side of like, you know, putting graphics out, putting videos out, making posts. So like, if you let me know you're coming, I promise you as a promoter, I'm going to promote the crap out of you. You know, you're going to be on posters. I'm going to be hyping you up. I'm going to be bringing you on podcasts. I'm going to be dropping video highlight clips of you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I'm
but
just
I can't
getting into like the fucking flyers and like Superman stuff. Like, and I love it, dude. It's so fun to make like these backgrounds and weird
but
shit.
You can't do that if you don't know who's coming, you know?
Right. Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
I've been to tournaments where I look at their flyer, I'm like, there's John Brezink and there's Larry Wills. Like, I guess they're gonna be there. And then you go and you're like, oh, they're not here.
They just used them on the flyer.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
I mean, you know.
Well, look at the WAF Nationals they had up here near us, Simon, and they had an IFA champion on their flyer, and I'm like, bro. And then they had like IFA, they had someone reffing that was an IFA champion. I'm like, if that guy was at anyone else's tournament, you'd be warning them not to go, but at your own fucking WAF event, that's okay.
Yeah,
makes no sense to me, dude.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Last couple months have really just aggravated the crap out of me, man. Like, I know I'll get over it, you know, and move forward, but it's just, I don't know where the sport's headed, man. I really don't. I know it's good to an extent where it's headed, you know. Our stars are getting treated good. They're making good money, but
TAL has November 16th, Texas State. And that's their Arnold's.
Yeah, okay. I heard about that on.
Just hit me up.
I listened. He shouted that out on y'all's last podcast.
Yeah, we got a tournament November 9th, but it's just a local small one.
Yeah, I'll be helping Sean November 9th in Nashville. It's gonna be lit.
Yeah, dude, and that's the thing. Like with the round table, like certain tournaments, like our small ones, like it doesn't, like your tournament's not going to, like there's no crossover from where you are to where we are,
right?
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. But some of the bigger ones, maybe there'd be like there's different tiers we're going to have to figure out for if we're going to like try to not crush each other in the whole country. There's going to have to be different levels because like a round robin invitational is way different than Winter Blast or a regular tournament. So that we're going to have to like really like work to not overlap certain big things.
Yep. And it's going to take a lot of selflessness too, bro. A lot of people are going to have to, there's too many promoters. Somebody's going to have to say, all right, I'm going to sit this one out, right? I'm going to sacrifice this event.
I did that for 2 months this year because there was something every fucking weekend. And I'm like, if I throw anything, someone's going to be mad at me up here. And what sucks though is all the little fucking backyard barbecue fucking tournaments.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, that's not even like a real tournament.
Too many, man.
Oh, dude, it's so tough because I don't want to piss those guys off either. You know, they're having like it's not even a tournament, it's like a backyard fucking super match event. But
That's the thing, man. Like,
tournament, they're going to be pissed off. And I'm like, oh.
I always say that, like, and I try to be careful because I don't want to sound like trying to dictate things or trying to control people from doing things. But, if we want some structure in the sport, there has to be structure, and not everybody can be a promoter. I'm sorry, they just can't.
I agree.
It, like you said, maybe the tier
just
system works.
Terrible.
What's that?
I've been to some tournaments where, like, now that I do tournaments, like, I look at everything because I'm like, okay, what could I do better? Or maybe I have a suggestion. So I'm always watching, and I'm like, there's been some I go to where I'm like, this is not even this is terrible.
Yep.
Like a small tournament taking 8 hours. I'm like,
and they made more money than you did, Ryan.
Probably. Yeah, exactly. I'm too nice is the problem. Like, and Sean's right on that. And he's said that to me many times. Like, you need to stop being so fucking nice and generous. But
I am too, man. That's my problem.
Yeah.
That was one good thing when I was partnered with Chris. Like, Chris was bad cop. He don't give a damn to piss anybody off. And like, there was a lot of times that I was like holding Chris's shirt back, like, dude, you can't say this, you can't do this. Please don't do this.
That's the problem. That's a lesson I learned early on. Like, you got to be careful what you say, especially on these podcasts, because if you rub too many people the wrong way, like, it's
like I told you, man. I got messages after that last podcast that y'all had.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people didn't like how Chris acted, and I told him that. I'm like, there's consequences. I'm not saying you're wrong. He wasn't wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
He wasn't wrong at all.
Jody was upset there about the personal stuff. He wanted it to stay more, But on the other hand, too, I mean, if Chris thinks that, Tim's a mediocre ref, that's his opinion.
It is.
Yeah.
And one should be able to, say their opinion if they want.
Yeah. I'm not even a mediocre arm wrestler. I'm way below that.
No, I heard your rating, buddy.
Terrible.
I heard your Aries rating. You're not there yet.
You know why? Because I don't have that many fucking. You start at, like, what do you start in Aries? Like a 1,500 or something, or 1,400? That's the only reason I have a high score, is because I've only done like 2 or 3 fucking real matches.
I was cracking up when you were like, so hypothetically, could I arm a homeless man 100 times as long as I got a referee?
I'm going to do that and fucking get the lowest. I can't believe Dave Shell's down around 1080 or whatever.
Funny.
That shit was hilarious. But I am going to do that and fucking get the lowest score out there, so I really am the worst arm wrestler in the world.
So
he thinks I'm joking.
Were you sent some questions to ask me? I was told that.
But we got to be careful with it because it's
Nah, dude,
you did cover some of them.
Yeah, you don't have to hit. I mean, it's really up to you. I'm not gonna make a fool of myself,
Well, I know. We did talk about the extra night that he was asking for. That kind of ridiculous. Something about also some money that was supposed to be towards the tournament, and then it got cut in half, and then he was like, "Where'd that extra 1,000 go?"
Yeah,
stuff like that. Like, is all that stuff pretty accurate?
Yeah. I mean, I can lay it out for you.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't me bashing. This is just me telling the factual story. This is what happened, right?
Yeah.
So when we were approached to bring the round robin, hey, I'd like you guys to bring the round robin to Arizona. Okay, that's cool. Great. What do you guys need? Well, I mean, I live in Tennessee. That's a 20-hour ride. So just get us a flight and a hotel. Me and Chris and the wife, we'll all share a hotel. We don't need separate hotels. We'll just share a hotel. And it don't even have to be a great hotel. Just put us up in something, right? Yeah. And then for him to cover what we normally would cover, right, which was the 2,000. Okay, no problem. That was the agreement. Well, we get there. Everything's cool. I think it was the day of. we get pulled to the side. Hey, the pullers aren't worried about payouts, which I thought was a little weird because the 12 pullers they aren't going to sign up to pull for nothing. Hey, why don't we take, instead of 2,000, let's just do 1,000 on top of the buy-ins, right? And then we'll take this other 1,000 and I'll put it towards, matches during the tournament, which I was like, don't ask me. I'm not the boss. Ask Chris. That's a decision that he's going to have to make. So they asked Chris, whatever. Chris really don't want to do it. But ultimately, you know what? To save an argument, let's do it. As long as you promise to do those matches. And ultimately, they didn't happen. So whatever. I didn't really feel any super type of way about it. It is what it is. The pullers seemed like they were okay with it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that did happen. I mean,
yeah,
that is a fact.
That's what I mean. Like all those things added up, I can see why Chris is all worked up. Pretty pissed off,
Yeah, I mean, there was
you both go about it very different.
I know how to. I've been a promoter longer than Chris, and my goal as a promoter was try to be good to the most amount of people, as no matter if they're bad to me, I'll still be good to them because I feel like if I'm good to you, you'll remember it and you might come back to my tournament. Right. And then eventually in a decade, I just got 200 people that like me. And then I can just have a casual 200 entry tournament without really even having to go out and politic to get people there. That's the way I looked at it. And a lot of them are my friends, but it's just, I can see where I could be looked at as a pushover. I can understand that. And I'm trying to grow with that. But I mean, like you said, Ryan, you're too nice. I'm the same damn way, bro.
Yeah. Like someone's like, hey, I want my money back. I'm like, here's double. No, not really. But I just want everybody to leave feeling like they didn't get screwed over and they had a good time,
I've just been
to that above me making money.
I've been to too many tournaments where I left. I'm like, nah. Yeah. And I don't want that to be my tournament,
Right. I focus more on the fun. Like, everybody has a job, like the refs, the brackets guy, everybody knows exactly, like that part of it is just universal.
Yeah.
Like the reffing and the brackets, everything like that is universal. To me, I focus on how can we make this fucking fun so it doesn't feel like someone's just reading off bingo numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of that is having a fun announcer and, music, little things like that. Like just, someone walking around making people laugh in the crowd or whatever.
Dude, I announced the 98 round robin and it was the worst, bro. Like, I'm not an enthusiastic announcer. Sean seems to think I am, and maybe I am when it's not my event. I don't know, because I'm going to be announcing for him. He was like, man, you're good on the MC. But for that 98 round robin, I was just like, I went back and watched. I'm like, dude, I am freaking horrible, bro. This is horrible. I'll never do this again.
The same way, dude. Like, it's just natural to me to just troll people. So, like, I'm up there and I'm just like, look at this guy's tight sweatpants. Like, I can't be on the mic, dude.
Right.
It's not good. It's not good.
Hey, two of the best. Uncle John, Don Underwood, man.
Yeah.
I went back today.
Not as good, yeah. Mikey is a beast on the mic, dude.
Yeah, dude. Mikey is. He's there, man. But no, I went back today and I was actually rewatching the 220 round robin out in Arizona, and they did the commentary, Don Underwood and John. I was just like, I never got to hear that because I was live.
Yeah.
And they weren't over the mic. They were back in the booth. So I never really got to hear it. So that today was my first time ever even hearing that. And it was a different experience. It was like,
it does make a big difference.
Yeah.
We got a local puller here who's super into like WWE like commentating. So like we had him jump on the mic, dude, and he crushed it. And I'm like, you're our new guy.
Yeah.
So that it's a lot more fun when you have someone on there that can hype the crowd, and when it gets too quiet and you're like, I don't hear anybody cheering here, like just getting the crowd involved is
That's
fun.
me. I'm like, what do I say? Guys, come on, let's cheer. And then they don't cheer. I'm like, yeah, I have no energy.
Yeah.
I can't bring it home. But no, going back to the Tim, I do want to say this. I don't want it to sound like I hate Tim or anything. I had an incredible time out in Arizona. You know, he brought us out there.
Yeah.
That was one of the funnest times I've ever had. Me and my wife went out there. It was an incredible time, you know. Put us up in a great hotel. The tournament was fantastic. That was a tournament that I wanted to go win too. I actually got to pull that one. I won my class, and
Nice.
you know, I had a great time, you know. So I don't want it to sound all negative towards Tim. I don't have, you know, as far as all this stuff, for me, consider it squashed. I don't really want to harp on it. Like, Tim, I'm cool with you, buddy.
Yeah.
I wish you success, you know, and maybe I'll get out to Arizona again in the future. But yeah, I don't want it to sound all negative or anything like that. You know, everybody's got their experiences. You just got to kind of separate business with, you know, pleasure, right?
Yeah. It sucks though, as like, you know, me and Mikey doing this podcast. Like when we see drama online, we're like, we need them on the podcast. But then like some of these guys like Tim now may think we're assholes for fucking discussing the situation. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard, but it's like, it's arm wrestling news and it's topics. And really, Mikey, I'm sure, feels the same way as me. I look at it as we talk about it so that these things don't continue to happen. You know, maybe we can find a way to not have these things happen, or maybe there were some misunderstandings. We can get to the bottom of it, you know, whatever, squash it. But not everybody looks at it that way. Like, you know, obviously if you have a podcast, you want topics that are kind of.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I completely understand that. But I mean, if I want to address one last thing, 220 round robin, I've seen where I apparently didn't do anything. That's a damn lie, you know. That is a straight up lie, you know. And there was people coming up to me at that event, grabbing me to the side saying, hey, man, we see what's going on. Just know we won't let this happen. We won't let, you know, we won't let nobody take that.
I've had people say the same thing to me because, like, I don't give myself an actual job at my tournaments because I'm kind of like the floater that's helping with everything. And people will make comments like, oh, I just saw Ryan just walking around. And I'm like, yeah, but they don't see the months of fucking time and effort planning all these events all year round, you know?
Yeah, dude.
It's crazy that people just view it that way, but I don't care anymore. I'm like, whatever, fuck it.
It's
what it is.
It's aggravated me to the point where, you know, I've made that post that I was going to step back. I'm still going to hold tournaments next year. It's just in the whole larger scale of trying to bring the world together or whatever. Nah, that's not
So we're doing something just in our 98 league. Let me run this by you two. You guys are promoters. So we're just going to release a belt into every fucking weight class. And then at the next tournament, whoever wins first, second, or third can challenge whoever is the belt holder to kind of organically make some super matches. So like whoever wins first place in whatever weight class at the next tournament, they get a belt. We're just going to give it to the first place guy.
Yeah.
Then first, second, or third at every other tournament moving forward can challenge that guy for the belt as long as you are in the top three. So I was thinking that's small scale. What if we fucking, all of us promoters like in the round table decided we're going to release a belt in every weight class in all of our leagues, and then they can challenge each other from the different fucking leagues.
It's pretty cool.
That would be cool.
I mean, that would be badass. And really, you can get some decent belts pretty cheap these days.
Yeah.
So we could get a bunch of belts and just be like, all right, we're going to release like a couple over there, a couple over here, and just then those guys can challenge each other and do it at a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple events where that's where the fucking super matches happen.
That's kind of what I wanted the round robins to be. I wanted it to be like a annual title that people defend, and then that was my original idea, and then it just turned into, well, the winner's going to East West, and you got to move on without them, and which is cool. Which is that's cool. You know, if my platform was able to get them to the next level, that's great.
Well,
Not what I thought it was going to happen, but you know. it was
Well,
cool.
they just canceled their event, so
That's
now
crazy,
now
man.
you got your guys back.
I mean, no, I hate that. I genuinely do
Yeah.
because you know we all want to see high level arm wrestling. It's just, you know, I had it in my head like, yeah, I don't know how long that's going to stay around, man. Because
Me too.
where's the money come from?
Actually, Paul Lynn's the one who told me. He was like, dude, most of the guys that go to East versus West said they would have done it for way less money. And I'm like, geez.
I wonder if some of those guys are going to come back to my event because they were going to the Challenger Series.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, can you imagine like someone gave them a heads up and they canceled and then now that's canceled? So
Yeah.
are they going to come running back? And then it's like, now do you accept them back? Like, hey, unloyal.
That was the issue. You know, me and Mikey was talking before the camera. Like, we're having issues getting the 242s and the supers paid and a little bit of the 220s. And like, what do? You know, you can't just hold a tournament with 8 people and give away $3,000. You know, you just can't do that. But at the same time, I would never cancel it. You know, too many people like Mikey. He was one of the first ones to pay. You know, and like his class.
Yeah.
How would you feel, Mikey, if I'm like, hey, Mikey, sorry, 2 months ahead. Sorry, we got to cancel your class. Here's your money back.
Yeah.
That would suck. And I will not do that. You know, if anything, I'll just adjust and we'll make it work, you know, the best we can. But yeah, that sucks, man. When you cancel a tournament, I've learned that over the years, man. When you cancel a tournament, that does something to your brand as a promoter. It just does. You know,
or you can be like Travis and get pre-registration and then cancel and then not refund anybody.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
That's what Laray is saying, though. That shit stayed with you forever. Like, how long ago was that? 6 years?
Years ago. But you know what, though? It doesn't even matter because people
stays with you. It stays with you.
Yeah.
It's like the moment you cancel, it stays with you. And then the next time you hold a tournament, it's in people's head, well,
what
is he going to cancel this one? You know?
Well, that might happen with East versus West. Well, I think, like I said, Baxter getting involved, that may solve their money problem, at least for a little while.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's sustainable because if he sees a loss, no real businessman is going to be like,
I wonder how much the actual East-West production costs. Like, overall, how much does it cost to hold one of those events?
Well, I mean, look, so I'm going to compare it to Knuckles Up because their stage and everything looked very similar to the first Knuckles Up this year. And those guys, I mean, we're talking like $60,000 to $100,000 worth of production. Knuckles Up, though, is lucky because they have a guy on their team that does that for a living.
Yeah.
So,
and
I mean, just him saying like what he thought that would cost. I mean, he's got to be in the ballpark. Like we're talking $100,000 worth of fucking production value just in the screens and lighting and sparks and this and that.
So then you ramp it up a little bit when you're getting flights to.
Flights. You're paying Devin $50,000. You know.
So is East West cost $200,000? Probably so.
More. Yeah.
So then you start thinking, well, how many pay-per-views do I have to sell?
Yeah. And then there's the tournament going on the same time, and the tournament didn't really have a good turnout. I was surprised. Like,
you're talking about the Challenger? Oh no, you're talking about the other. Yeah.
When they had that fucking super match, they had every fucking big name on earth down there, and there was like 900 people in line or whatever. But the tournament, the FAL tournament itself, did not have a huge turnout, and I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I personally, this is my opinion. I could be wrong, but he opened up Pandora's box when he came to the United States.
Oh yeah,
because now, especially I think that's the best one. That's the best one he's had.
Yeah,
and I don't think anything he does in Turkey is going to be comparable. Nothing, nowhere close. You're not going to have the atmosphere. You're not going to have the pay-per-view buys. So then he's going to be chasing that. Yeah. And I personally think you'll see more in the United States than you do in Turkey.
Dude, and with all the ban threats, though, they're going to lose. They're going to lose some support from the promoters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's always going to be somebody there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
absolutely. People are always going to, support and whatever. But
even
it's splitting up things more, I think,
it is.
because now everyone's like, am I WAF or am I IFA? But they're the ones drawing a line in the sand. IFA's not.
Yeah.
IFA don't care if you go pull a WAF event and then come back and pull an IFA event.
Right.
That's the difference.
It's crazy, man. I don't know. It's tough. It is.
I just thought, with every star down there, it would have been like a massive tournament, but it was smaller than I guess I thought it was going to be.
Robert Kelly is saying 260 entries. If that is accurate, I
I
mean,
don't know if that's what it was or not, but
on a Friday, that's pretty good.
that's good. If that's the actual number.
But with the amount of people that were there watching, I thought it would have been like astronomical,
Well, yeah, but the problem is a lot of them are too afraid to take a loss in the tournament because they think they're about to
run into
invite
that.
week.
Dude, you must run into that a lot. Like these guys that are just ducking fucking matches. Like, because at the round robin, I mean, all those losses, the guys that lose, I mean, those are counted as losses. So you probably got a lot of guys that even avoid the whole fucking thing because they're like, no, I want to hold on to my first place. Fucking.
Here's the thing. It can be good. Look at it this way. Hunter, boom. He's in the East West now. No one really knew Hunter before that.
Yeah.
But it can also go bad to where you have like Dusty Hyatt. He finished 9th. Right. Where's he been since the round robin?
Yeah.
I haven't even heard from this kid since the
And
round
with
robin.
varies, now you get those losses and your score fucking goes down quite a bit.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we ran into that problem a lot when we tried to set up the Supers round robin in Florida. All the top super heavyweights, and personally, I'm sorry. When I was doing the round robins, I'm not really, interested in bringing in mid-level guys. I'm sorry. That's not what people want to watch.
No.
And so when I get the top level guys and I send them an invite, well, if I take a loss there, I'm probably out of the invite. Well, okay. So I'm to the point where I don't even want to mess with the super heavyweights, man. I don't even want to mess with them.
Yeah. I mean, we invited guys to Winter Blast and they were like, who's going there? Because if there's not top level guys there, I'm not going. I'm like, well, dude, there's guys here that will fucking smash you. You just don't know them. That's the problem. And they didn't want to come. And it was like a pretty well-known person. And he made a comment like, oh, I'm not going there to risk losing to,
You know what I tell him?
the word he used, but it was
what I tell him?
stupid.
If you lose at my tournament, you never deserve to invite to East West anyway.
Yeah. It is crazy though. Like, a big tournament like that, like the amount of talent that's there, like a lot of these guys are just not known, and you show up and you get smoked by someone that fucking no one's ever heard of.
At what point do we say what's deserved is deserved, right? If I go and lose, I suck, man. I didn't deserve it.
Show up to win.
If I win, I deserve it. If so-and-so down the road that's no one knows beats me, guess what? They
Robert
deserve
Kelly's a liar.
251 according to Gary.
Yeah, he was off by 9.
Hey,
Robert
I
Kelly.
thought we weren't fact checking this.
Oh shit! Is that the rule? No fact checking.
No fact checking.
How dare Robert Kelly lie about 9 entries? Come back.
No, hey,
That's a good number though. That's 251. It's a really good number, I think.
That's pretty impressive for a Friday night event.
Friday, for sure.
Yeah.
For a Friday, dude. Yeah, like
To be fair, too, you had SBC the weekend before.
Fridays and Sundays are tough to like get a good tournament. I feel.
And we had the SBC the weekend before, which I'm sure pulled away a few entries as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's a good number for the amount of people that went there to watch like all the best pullers in the fucking world were there.
Yeah. If he would just have a tournament like that and stop having all these pop-up qualifiers, quit with that. Have one big one, and you'll probably have 500-600 entries, honestly.
Dude, in our area, like the people up here made like every little tournament they threw East versus West on. Even Simon put East versus West on his WAF WAF Nationals. I'm like, Why do you need to make that a fucking East versus West? And they didn't even bring it up at the tournament. They didn't announce it. They didn't say anything. Nobody qualified. Like,
It's brands. It's brands, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go buy a Walmart T-shirt that fits me and is very comfortable, but if it's got a logo on, I'm gonna pay $60 extra for it, man. It's the same way with arm wrestling. If you got an
I'm
East
gonna
West logo
rename-
on your flyer, I'm gonna show up.
I'm gonna rename Winter Blast Worlds and just piss people off. That way everybody can be like, that's not a Worlds.
If you want to really piss them off, put the real Worlds.
Oh my god, dude.
When we
real-
first did the Great American Bash, I put National Championship
Yeah.
because
People
that's
mess-
what I wanted it to be.
Well, dude, it seems like that, like you literally can make it that if you want to, because I see a lot of promoters just say this is a nationals or this is a whatever, and it's like, okay, well then I'm going to name mine like the national regional worlds of
Well,
America or something.
my-
crazy.
My idea for nationals is you're supposed to have the very best in every class all the way through, right? And you're going to know who's coming. That fit the criteria. A lot of people were like, it's not a nationals. It doesn't qualify you for worlds. Who cares, man? Like, that doesn't have to be anything. Like, Pro Gear, yes, sir.
It's a great logo.
Yes, sir. But I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. Ah, fuck it.
I'm glad I could be back on y'all's show for a second.
Yeah. Hey,
I know, you pretty much live on here with us now.
yeah. You're the third host now.
I'll take it, man.
I'm gonna read you the song. It's gonna be Mikey, Ryan, and Laray.
Put me in the song. You got to make a remix version.
Yeah.
Just in case I can't make it every time.
I love it.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Nah, but man, I don't know. Y'all got anything else, man?
Not that I can say on air.
All right. That's a good time to end it. We can talk off air real quick before I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you about something.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. I guess we'll officially say goodbye then.
See you. I'll be
Goodbye,
back.
everybody.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye, everybody.